Hey, what's going on, everybody? Nick Push here. Well, we are inching closer and closer to Friday the 13th. In a year that has basically sucked, the gods have done us a solid and given us a Friday the 13th, 2 weeks after Halloween. So we actually have something to be thankful for. So mark that on your list. One of the few things on the list, I'm sure. But let's get into this. So I have a bunch, actually, of Friday the 13th ranking videos I want to get out. I'm probably not going to be able to get them all out by this Friday the 13th, but I'm just going to continue it. We might turn this into a Friday the 13th kind of month. We'll see how it goes. Today's specific video, I am going to talk about my favorite, and I'm going to rank my favorite defeats of Jason, or in this case, defeats of the killer, because as we know, Jason is not the killer in every Friday the 13th movie. So we're going to rank it from the worst, or the fucking dumbest in this case, all the way to what I think is the best. So which movie's going to come out number one? Stick around and find out. So Jason and the killers in this series have been defeated in a number of different, and some might say crazy, ways. Some of them are very cool. Some of them are god-awful. So in my mind, there are 11 movies to rank because I am not going to include Freddy vs. Jason in this list. And the reason for that is just because Jason wasn't really defeated. You know, he walks out of the water holding Freddy's head, so Jason kind of wins, depending on your point of view. And just for simplicity's sake, I thought it'd be easier just to cut it out and just go with the top 11. So kicking it right off at number 11 is going to be the ending of Jason Takes Manhattan. Dear fucking Lord. Who okayed this? Who actually wrote it? Who filmed it? We know who filmed it, the director. And then who looked at it and said, yeah, that'll work. Are you fucking kidding me? If you don't know what I'm talking about, this movie ends with Jason chasing two teens, Rennie and Scott, I think his name is, in the sewers of downtown New York City. Okay, you with me so far? And Jason chases them and they defeat him. How do they defeat him, you see? Well, actually, in case you're unaware, every night at a certain point in time, like clockwork in New York City, the sewers fill up with toxic waste in the 80s, the 1980s. This happens. And what that toxic waste does is it transforms Jason Voorhees, brutal hockey mask ugly killer, into what he was as a child. Let that sink in for a second. In a franchise that asks you to suspend your disbelief. We have a killer that might be dead, he might not be dead, and then he is dead, and now he can't be killed. He can swim, is he afraid of water? All these variables. This is the most confusing moment I have ever fucking heard of in a horror franchise ever. God. My God, yes. This is last. I don't like the next few on this list, but it goes Jason Takes Manhattan, and then there's a big drop-off. So nothing else will be close to this level. Maybe in horror history, in my book. That's how bad this is. So, that's number 11. Sorry, I'm pretty negative right now, but that is bad. So let's get to number 10. And this is going to be the movie right before this from The New Blood, Friday the 13th, Part 7. Another dumb one. It's not Jason Takes Manhattan dumb, but it's still fucking dumb. Jason is defeated in this case by, what the hell's her name? Tina, Carrie, resurrecting her dead father who's still at the bottom of Crystal Lake, to come grab Jason from behind and pull him underwater. Movie over. Another dumb one. God. Number 10, Friday the 13th, Part 7, A New Blood. Coming in at number 9 is going to be the ending to Jason Goes to Hell. Another bad one, how they defeated it. And when I say ending, I mean the ending of the killer, because I'm not going to include the jump scare from Friday 1. But Jason Goes to Hell. So this one I'll give a little bit of a bonus point for Freddy's glove coming up. But he's defeated by getting stabbed with a magical dagger that apparently has existed this whole time. And someone knew about it, Creighton Duke. Who's a great character, by the way. But he's stabbed in the heart with this dagger, this magical dagger. And then all these big, what are they, creatures? These big hellions, we'll say, pull him underground and into hell. Wow. Yeah, Jason Goes to Hell. Number 9. Coming in at number 8 is going to be the ending, the defeat of Jason from Jason X. Jason in Space, if you don't know which movie this is. This fits this movie. Okay, now we're going to get into movies that I can tolerate. Or endings, defeats of Jason, defeats of the killer that I can tolerate. Those other ones, as you could see, you might have been able to tell from my tone of voice or my words, that they really pissed me off. So I'll try to have a little bit of better tone here now. But sorry, just talking about those previous endings really just, they grind my gears, as they say. But let's get into Jason X ending. X's ending, I should say. Jason is flying through space. I know it sounds bad, but he's flying through space back at their ship, and he's basically grabbed by, I can't remember the guy's name, the tough guy from the space station grabs him and kind of takes him, and he burns off in the atmosphere. As much as that sounds just as stupid as the rest, it's not. It fits this movie. At that point he's Uber Jason. How the hell else are they going to defeat him? Besides using space somehow. So I'm fine with that. So it's not great, but it's at number 8. All right, let's get into number 7. Number 7 is going to be the ending from Friday the 13th, Part 5. A New Beginning, when Roy Burns is defeated by being pushed off the barn, the second story of the barn, onto spikes that are magically laying there. Another one that sounds stupid. Fuck, man, all these sound stupid. But it's a goddamn slasher franchise. This one's right in the middle of the pack-ish, because I don't mind it. They had to reveal that it wasn't Jason somehow. And the visual of Roy lying there on the spikes, you see the kind of mask come off, and he's lying there on the spikes, ouch, by the way, is not a bad visual. So I didn't mind it there very much. So that comes in at number 7. Coming in at number 6 is going to be the remake from 2009. Jason is defeated in this case, this is actually kind of cool. He's defeated by, I don't even know what you call it. It's a machine that's just running in a circle, and it's got a chain on there. And basically, the heroine, is it Amanda Rigetti, puts the rope around him, and he's kind of taken back into there. And then, there's a jump scare at the end out of the water. But this is actually a pretty cool defeat of him. However, the reason I downgraded a little bit is because it's kind of telegraphed. Once you see this machine sitting there and see it spinning, you can kind of see what's going to happen within the last like minute before it happens, or as it's kind of unfolding. It's pretty obvious how it's going to end. So I downgraded a little bit, but it's loads above the others on this list that I've already mentioned. So the remake from 2009 is at number 6. All right, now we're getting into the good ones finally. Coming in at number 5 is going to be the defeat of Jason from Friday the 13th, Part 2. Ginny, in the end of this one, obviously takes a machete and clips Jason right in the collarbone, I guess, and it kind of sticks in his collarbone, sticks in his shoulder, which sounds very tame. But you got to remember, this Jason is more humanized than all the others. It's Sackhead Jason. And I love the defeat of him. I love how she tricks him into thinking that she's his mother. That whole scene, Jason, mother is talking to you. It's a fucking classic. So this one had to be in Part 5. The reason it's not higher is just because the whole machete to the shoulder. I downgraded that a little bit. But like I said, you got to understand which version of Jason we're dealing with here. So now Part 2 is at number 5. All right, coming in at number 4 is going to be the defeat from the OG, the original Friday the 13th from 1980. And this is obviously not Jason. Remember, I'm not including the jump scare. We're not doing endings here. It's the defeats of the killer. But this is Betsy Palmer and, getting fucking decapitated. And it's just classic. Her and Alice really have a tussle on the beach there. It's a lot of hair pulling and tackling each other. Real cat fight, as they say. But yeah, just a classic where Alice picks up the machete and decapitates her. And the kicker is you see Mrs. Voorhees' hands, kind of clutch in the air after her head's chopped off. So really cool, and it's a classic. So it's at number 4. Top 3, people. Coming in at number 3 is going to be the defeat of Jason from Friday the 13th, Part 3. As you guys know, this is my favorite Jason, and I just love the third act of this film. The final chase might be my favorite final chase in horror history. But getting to the defeat, Chris basically defeats him by taking an axe, putting it in his head. I love the way she puts it in his head and just keeps walking towards her before he falls over. Just badass. Totally badass. I upgrade this ending just because like I said, I love the final chase scene. This is a classic. It's my favorite Jason. So taking the axe to the head, awesome visual, and that's at number 3. Coming in at number 2, speaking of visuals that I love, this is going to be the defeat of Jason from Part 6, Jason Lives. This is almost all because of the visuals. And what I mean by that is the lake on fire. Jason getting taken down with a chain around him and a big boulder, and just the whole fucking scene with the lake on fire and him jumping on the boat to try to kill Tommy is just fucking classic. I'm not going to talk about how Tommy's obsessed with Jason being alive, and then he thinks he just has to put him at the bottom of the lake and nothing will ever happen again. That's far-fetched. But the visual and the defeat of Jason is fucking awesome. I just get goosebumps thinking about it. It's just classic Friday the 13th. And it's a great scene. So that comes in at number 2. But probably no surprise to you, coming in at number 1 is going to be the defeat of Jason from Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter. Right. But yeah, speaking of classics, my God, Tom Savini and Joseph Zito pulled out all the stops here. It's crazy that Corey Feldman kills Jason. It's awesome. But this is where Jason actually dies for real. You get Trish and Jason battling. Tommy shaves his head. And, just the awesome, Tommy takes the machete and boom, right in the side of his head. And then the kicker, Jason falls down on the machete and his head just slides on the machete, slicing his fucking skull wide open. Man, that's one of the coolest visuals in horror history. It's just awesome. Jason defeated by a child. So that is my number 1 defeat of Jason Voorhees and my number 1 defeat of the killer in the Friday the 13th franchise. Let me know what your top defeat is. Maybe you have the same list as mine. Probably not, because all these are subjective, but I'm always curious to know what you guys think. So give me your top 1, give me your top 3, top 5, whatever you guys want to do. And as always, appreciate you guys watching. And if I don't see you between now and Friday, happy Friday the 13th.